Thank you. Good evening, cherished viewers, and welcome to a special edition of the NSMQ Live Chat. My name is Isaac Kwejukran, your host. For this special edition, we are blessed to have in our midst the Managing Director of Primetime Limited, producers of the prestigious National Science and Maths Quiz. So, the Mensa-Bonsu, Managing Director of Primetime Limited, has redefined leadership and innovation in the marketing and advertising industry. So at the 35th Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana Award, we are talking about CIMG Performance Awards. Ms. Nanekia Mensa-Bonsu was honored with the title Marketing Woman of the Year 2023, a recognition that reflects her transformative impact on the field and cementing her status as one of Ghana's most influential market leaders. So under her visionary guidance, Primetime has become a powerhouse in educational programming, notably spearheading the National Science and Maths Quiz, a three-time CING Television Program of the Year that is in 2017, 2022, and 2023. So the NSMQ has inspired countless students, with many from underserved communities receiving scholarships and gaining admissions to prestigious universities. Welcome to the NSMQ Live Chats, Mr. Nanekia Mensa-Bonsu.
Thank you. Good evening.
I hope you are happy to be on the live chat.
Oh, yes. I'm not an NSMQ former contestant, but I get to be on the live chat. Yes, I am happy to be here.
You have a special place here.
Thank you.
All right. So, viewers, if you have any comments or question for Ms. Nanekia, please leave them in the comment section and read them, and she will answer them for you. Thank you. So, Nanekia, as the managing director of Primetime Limited, what would you say are some of the values that drive your leadership?
Well, the values that I would say drive my leadership are, let me start from the back and work towards the front. So the teamwork is a very important value that I hold and that I use in my running of the company and of the projects that we do. But teamwork is the result of a number of things. First of all, transparency and free flow of information. The way we plan and run the quiz, we run it committee style, and everybody has to be present for every meeting. Whatever we discuss may not be for you at that time, at that point in time, your role. So it may not have anything to do with you at that moment in time, but you have to sit through the meetings anyway. What it does is that by the time we are ready to start the program, everybody on the committee or on the team knows exactly what to do. Everybody knows what everybody's role is. Everybody knows what is expected in every role, so that you can give backup support, so that if someone is not available or unable to complete their task, you can step in. So being transparent and sharing information freely, that is effective communication, is a major value that I hold. Another one is cooperation. People cooperating with each other. You scratch my back, I scratch your back, kind of thing, so that you help others even when it is not your responsibility. You help others so that they also stand in for you when you need to. And here I would like to refer to. I'm sorry.
When you are indisposed, they stand in for
When
you.
you're indisposed
Yeah.
or you have other stuff that to do, someone can stand in for you. And here I'd like to refer to Prime Time's prayer, where it says that we have to accept. Yes, you know the Prime Time prayer says that
Sure.
we have to accept our weaknesses and our differences, and acknowledge that we. I'm paraphrasing here, but that we depend on each other for success.
Yes.
And so
They
teamwork
each other's
requires, Yes, and be each other's keeper. That you recognize that your success is dependent on other people's success and other people's cooperation, so that everybody helps everybody. Our hymn at prime time is "Help us to help each other, Lord." Is a Methodist hymn, each other's cross to bear. Let each his friendly aid afford and feel his brother's care. And if you do that, then you are going to have a team of people who care about each other and who are willing to support each other through thick and thin. I would also mention that um, responsibility is an important value to me. People being responsible for what they do. And so you'll find that all the committee members head departments when we are on location. So
Right.
everybody has cut out responsibility. And every year, when there are new responsibilities, there's a job description for each of the roles so that you know exactly what you're doing. Um, Another value that I hold really dear is, diligence, attention to detail. I am very particular about that. I always say that and I tell my team members, you are aware of that, that I tell my team members that you are whenever you're involved in something that is audiovisual, right? So whether it's print, it's video, it's audio, so long as there's a copy of it, you immortalize your mistakes. So that if there's a typo, you are putting together a brochure and there's a typo, there's a spelling mistake, there's a some funny expression, incomplete sentence or something in there, some kind of mistake in there. So long as there's a copy of it, you have immortalized your mistake. And so I'm very particular about paying attention to detail, being meticulous with your tasks, because all of these things lead to, if you want to be excellent, not only do you work hard, but you have to be diligent with your tasks. Pay attention to what you're doing. They say the devil is in the details, and it's true. Sometimes
Right.
paying attention to the little details saves you a lot of trouble up front. So these are very important values that I I hold dear. Hard work. Say hard work doesn't break bones. It's true.
Sure,
If you
sure.
want to, yes, they
Okay.
say that the heights that's reached, attained by men are not, we're not in sudden flight. You have to work hard and consistently too. So these are values that I hold
Okay.
dear and which
Right. So
influence how we run the competition.
right. So we've
Yes.
learned of responsibility, hard work,
Yes.
teamwork, diligence. Right. So we know you have quite a resume. And so, how has your professional development shaped your management of prime time and the NSMQ?
Well, I would say that professional development has been in different stages. So let me start with um, my first real contact with work at um, at prime time in 99, from 99 to July of 2000. I was an intern at prime time. This was after SSC, when in my time, you had to wait 2 academic years to go into university. So I finished in 1998 and didn't go to first year until August of 2000. So I interned at prime time during that time, and I moved from department to department and learned how to do a lot of things. I learned how to administer an office, how to do secretarial work, how to do some little editing, a lot of different things. But one of the longest place I stayed, I was even personal assistant to the managing director at that time. That's my father. One of the things that I did was to work as a production assistant on the NSMQ and on Kiddie Quiz and Let's Speak English, which were three programs that we did, certainly in '99. Those were three programs that we held. And for the NSMQ and Kiddie Quiz, I used to powder the faces of the contestants before they'd go up on stage. I always was good with makeup, even though I didn't ever learn
You're a makeup
really how to.
artist.
Yes. So I used to help Prof. Ramadi, who was the hostess, I mean, the quiz
Right.
mistress then, with her clothes and her makeup, and, you know, help with the general running of the logistics of the program, make sure that the crew had their snacks, made do be the liaison between the kitchen and the dining hall to make sure that food was served on time. If there were any problems with the food, all of these were resolved. And so when I came back to prime time, and really 2013, when I started running the program, I knew a lot of things about the program because of the time that I had spent on it years before.
Right.
um yes, I more than 10 years before, I knew immediately that making the quiz mistress comfortable was the first, one of the important things to do. So I made sure that she had a room to herself at Volta Hall, and I found production assistants for her to help her with her clothes. I went I found a shop that sold accessories, beads, and stuff like that, and we would take care of her accessories for her, and her clothes match her clothes, and all of that. So you found that she was always well put out, like presented, with
Presented for.
less stress on her, because then she didn't have to take care of her clothes herself. She didn't have to do any ironing and sorting out even what to wear when. Because when you have such big things to do, the last thing you want to worry about is what you're going to wear.
What's your work? Yeah.
And that's why you have people like Mark Zuckerberg wearing a gray t-shirt and blue jeans.
Paid. Yeah. Right.
All the decisions that he has to take in a day, the last thing he wants to think about or worry about
Except
is what he's
dress.
going to wear for any day, and in particular. And she was very appreciative because it took a lot of weight of her
Good.
and gave her the opportunity to concentrate on what she needed, her primary tasks. And there
Okay.
are a number of things that changed on the program when I came in, because I drew on my experiences before, so it wasn't as if I was now learning about it.
On the job.
I On the job. The program, the way it is, it's a full year. One session is a full year. So when a new person comes onto the job, it takes a full year for you to even see the full extent of the program. And so your first year tends to be a year where everything is up in the air for you, and you can barely, manage and grasp what is going on. But I
Memories.
learned very quickly. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You can relate.
Right.
But it was a much easier adjustment for me because I had already had some experience with the program, and I knew exactly where help was needed, at
All
least
right. All right.
immediately. Yes.
Okay? Does this mean that you've spent your whole professional, development at Primetime Limited?
I would say yes. I had only done internships. So, as part of this professional development, preparing me for this job, I did a 2 month internship at the Daily Graphic. So,
All
one
right.
month at Graphic, 1 month at Mirror, for my master's at Legon. I did a Master of Arts in Communication Studies, and as part of the requirements, I had to do a 2 month internship, and I went to Graphic. And what it did for me was to help me with my writing skills. I already had good writing skills because I did English as an elective at secondary level, and that we were the last batch of elective English students, and I did very well. in that. But it really trained. It was a very tough program, and it really
How is that?
trained me.
All right. How is that different from the current literature students that we have?
Very different. We did literature. So we did core English,
Right.
and then we did literature in English, and then we did elective English. So my class was the Arts 2 class, which did elective English, literature, and French as the electives. So we went in much, much deeper than anybody would do with core English.
Right.
It was a very tough program. And in fact, before 97, there were no A's and no B's. If I remember correctly, 97 was the first year there were B's in the subject nationwide. I'm not talking about Wesley Girls. I'm talking about nationwide.
Right.
Well, C's were the best you could hope for. It was a very tough program. 97 there were two B's, one from Achimota School, one from Wesley Girls, and then 98, which was the last batch, you had eight A's nationwide, five of them from my class at Wesley Girls,
Wow.
and we left three
I hope you are
for,
one of
for the rest of the rest of of the country to share.
them.
So it was a very, very tough program, but it helped in so many ways, and it really helped me with my writing skills to make it really, really good. I also did. I also read French and Spanish, so the language courses require a lot of
Edit
reading. So
writing.
even if it's not in English and writing, so even if it's not in English, you still have to pay attention to your writing
To
skills, and
detail.
it's been very helpful to me. My time at Graphic was very, very helpful. It helped me to learn a lot about reporting and writing in for formal situations. And I use the lessons that I learned from these two places in my work also. So when you write me a proposal or any piece of writing or a report, I'm not just reading it to know what the content is. I'm proofreading, I'm editing, and you are going to take a lot of grammar points from me, and I call them teaching moments. I do that at meetings also. In my office, I insist that, I mean, when you join the team, you are the one who takes the minutes of our meetings, because most people don't learn minutes taking
Right.
at school,
Sure.
and most people don't have any other avenues. I learned to take minutes very early at university primary. If you were assistant senior prefect, that's for the whole school, JSS, you
Right.
took the minutes at the SRC meetings. So that's where I learned to write minutes, and then I honed in on that in other places um, along the way. So the you could call those things professional development. When I did my masters in the US, I had to learn quantitative um, um, research
Analysis.
methods again. In fact, I had to do all of it again, but it was confusing to me before I did that course, and I had to do it again. And I've used it in my professional life. I mean, there are years in which I teach the
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 participants.
PAs
Okay.
who do the survey. So one of the things that it did for me was to show me the importance of research. you know, Studying in a university in the US, doing grad school, taught me the importance of research, and that research can be small, it can be any size that you want, but at the end of the day, you're looking for feedback. And so to incorporate that into how I run the company. So every campaign that we do, there's an element of research. We do some baseline, we do research in between during the campaign, and then end of campaign research also. We do that also for the NSMQ. Every year since 2013, we do a survey, and there's a team that dedicates itself to that. And it's interesting to find me now teaching the team, how to code, how to input into SPSS, generate uh, a research report, and put everything into writing and write a proper research report at the end of the day. So all of these are things that I picked up along the way and that I incorporate into my work, not just for NSMQ, but for all the other things we do, the advertising campaigns that we do, because the NSMQ is just one of the things that we do.
You do. Sure. Sure. All
That's
right. So
we are.
we can all attest to the impact, the high impact of the NSMQ across the country. And so, if you manage such a high impact, program, what are some of the leadership, lessons that you have accrued or have learned from managing such a high profile or high impact program?
Well, I've learned that. Uh, let's go back to responsibility.
Right.
That somebody must be responsible for everything. You know that poem, Mr. Nobody. There's a thing that says that everything that something that belongs to everybody belongs to nobody.
Nobody. Yeah.
So somebody, however small the task, someone must be responsible for it, because you don't want a situation where nobody feels responsibility for it and so does not act. It was an experience on the program that taught me that. And I'm always learning new things about how to run the program anyway. But and things that I knew before, but maybe had not had the opportunity to practice, I put those into practice. I delegate a lot because I can't be everywhere at the same time. The program is so huge, no one person can run it.
Can do it
So
all.
it makes it, yes, so it makes it important, imperative to gather a team, train the team, and allow the team to run things. I'll give them freedom to explore, freedom to take decisions, but the decisions are also should also be in line generally with our approach and with how we do things. And that's one of the reasons why we do our planning committee meetings, and everybody is in the know about how things should be done. These are big, and you also learn that, I mean, different things, or should I say, the program means different things to different people. And to make sure that we are all on the same page, feedback
Right.
essential, extremely important. It doesn't matter who gives it; it must it must come up. And if I believed in it before I started running the program, I believe in it even more now, because when somebody is giving you feedback, even if the person is angry and the person is giving you feedback, harsh criticism, the person cares. That's why they are telling you what they are telling you. If they don't care, you won't elicit any emotion from them. They won't say anything. People who don't care don't bother to give you feedback. Those who care, whether it is out of um, genuine, or should I say no, whether it's from a positive experience, and so they are expressing love and appreciation, or a negative experience, so they are showing anger, they care enough to tell you so that you can do something with it. The feedback that is given to you is gold. You decide what you want to do with it.
All right. So, can you
I think
share right? Can you share a defining moment, with your time as managing director that, that one moment that you realize the real impact of your role as the managing director of Prime Time?
there are too many, and impact um, the impact will be in many ways. Impact will be in many ways, and the significance of it would mean different things to different people. um I can't point to one particular thing, but I must say that being recognized and invited to Jubilee House by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, was a wonderful thing for me, because it made me see that the appreciation of the program was not only from um, from the internal, stakeholders, not only from the Ministry of Education or the Ghana Education Service, not just from the sponsors, not just from the schools or the teams and the teachers and the students, but it was felt on a national scale.
All right.
Going to Malaysia was also a big moment, and having Otunfo Osei the second institute a prize and um, a promise of a trophy. All of these things are big things that make you see that
You
you
are doing
are
something.
doing something that people appreciate. But I will say that any day, on any day, I would point, or should I say, I would appreciate knowing that through us, young people have been touched, and especially where they come from, um, small means, where they come from, less privileged backgrounds, that through them they've won a scholarship. There are some that we have also supported through school, and I mean by us, I mean prime time, have supported, still supporting through school, and to see that through you, somebody has been blessed is a wonderful thing. So, I mean, every day, every year that happens, and every year that makes me appreciate anew the impact that we are having on people through our programs.
Time limited. Nanekia Mensa-Bonsu. So we have a question from Jason Abropa. Jason says, "What is the most difficult decision you've had to make as a managing director?" Just one. Just one. Don't think far.
I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Most difficult decision. Some a lot of decisions are difficult. I mean, it's difficult when you have to let people go. It's difficult when you have to find money from all sorts of places to support the program. It's difficult when uh, I can't even begin to say most difficult decision. Maybe not decision, but difficult situations. I always talk about, and here I like to tell stories. I always talk about um, when they say that, oh, be an entrepreneur, you're in charge of your time, you can do whatever you, and I say that is not true. When you're an entrepreneur, you eat last. When there's no money to pay salaries, or there's very little money, you start from the most vulnerable, and that's certainly
Right.
not you.
Right.
So you have to take care of your team members before you can take care of yourself. So if for 3 months there's no money for salaries, you don't eat. That's a difficult decision because you also have
A family to
needs.
feed.
You also have
Right.
yes, you also have experience. But I always talk about the freedom part. Yes, you have a lot of leeway because sometimes a lot of the time you can decide how to spend your time. But I always say that there's when where no one else can go, none of your team members must go. You must go.
That's good.
And I always tell the story about how I couldn't go on maternity leave or
Wow.
take maternity leave when my second daughter was born, because unfortunately she was born in the middle of NSMQ 2016. She was born on 11th June. And if you remember what the school calendar was like, you know that June is NSMQ month. So to have a baby on 11th June is a very, very
Right.
difficult situation. I had to make sure that everything was in order before taking my break. And with my first child in 2014, my dad was still strong and still quite interested in what was going on. So he covered for me and I was able to take 4 months off. In 2016, he was not interested. And
Wow.
I didn't, you can't, because he's older, like, older by then. He's old, not at that time, you don't want to be running around. That's not what you should be doing in your late 60s. You don't want to be doing those things.
Right. Okay, let's
So,
take another question,
so
right?
oh, let me finish. Let me finish. So
Okay,
then
right.
I
Sure.
couldn't go on maternity leave. There was a big job that we had done and we had to do the reports for it. I had had a baby just 10 days before this assignment. I couldn't recall anybody to do this, because to do these reports, because they were already busy with NSMQ. They had their hands full. When is NSMQ season? Everybody gets involved. Whether it's the receptionist at the office, whether it's HR, everybody gets involved. Whether you're on location or not, everybody has some job or responsibility to carry out for the success of the program. And so I couldn't recall anybody to do those reports. So I had to do it. I had had a baby by cesarean section only 10 days before. I had to sit up for a little over a week every day throughout the day and put these reports together. It was an activity report of the program that we had had, and the final report that I had to put together. It was a month before we were supposed to even, no, it was actually 2 months early. We had to do it 2 months early because the sponsors had an early a change in their calendar, and with bosses coming here to Ghana to see how they were doing from their stations abroad, they had to have the reports and everything in order for the visit. And so we had to I had to put together the reports all by myself, and that was a lot of work. My baby would be lying next to me. I'd be in my nightie and in my room typing furiously, reading things, asking for information, and putting all of these together. My baby would be crying and crying because she wanted me to carry her. Sometimes I'd put her on my lap while I typed, and finished my work. And we were able to finish. We were given 2 weeks to finish it, and we're able to do it. And why did I have to do it? It's not just because the sponsors had to meet this new deadline. It was also because at that time there was no money for the quiz. I didn't know how we were going to pay salaries for the for that year, for that month. This is 2016. I didn't know how we were going to pay salaries for that month. And so, with the promise from the sponsors that they were going to pay us immediately we submitted the final reports, I had to go ahead and do it so everybody else will get paid and so that they could also meet their deadlines. So when I when you ask me about a difficult decision, maybe this is it. It was one of those, and I had to pay for it because I had to sit up so much, even though the room was air conditioned, because I had to sit up so much. And then I just had a baby. The wound got infected, and I had to go to the hospital for that. So that difficult decisions, you have to take them all the time as a leader. And like I said, where your team can't go, you must go. I share this illustrate to just illustrate that point. Yes.
Right.
Um,
I
it would have been
before
ahead of
right
Yes, I was
before we
saying
go.
that. I mean, it's unheard of to ask a woman who's just had a baby to do something like that. I couldn't have called. Imagine if I'd been a member of staff, my boss couldn't have called me to do something like that. But when you are the boss and that has to be done, what do? You go ahead and you do it.
We
So
go for a quick
that's
commercial break. The next question is
right.
just in line with what you've just explained.
Right.
Dorcas Quinn wants to know that has there been any point where you felt like giving up? I believe that what you've just said, even answers this question better than the previous one. But probably I'll leave you to probably you have more under your sleeve to share.
Oh, when was the time when I felt like giving up? Without going too much into detail, there was a time when I was having trouble at home as well, and um, those times, but I never considered giving up, because when somebody has entrusted his life's work to you, you don't give up because you're having difficulties in your life. You move on, you go on, because everybody is dependent on you. You are also dependent on it. And so long as so maybe I should put this in context. Primetime is a family business. My father started it. He started the National Science and Maths quiz as well, and I took over running it from him in 2013. So uh, so I'm the next generation, should I say second generation, running the company. And when you have those ties like that, it becomes, you can't say that you're giving up. It's not a job, any kind of job that you just okay, I'm having difficulties, and then okay, let
Hop
me
onto
quit and go
another.
my way. You
Yeah.
can't do that. You can't do that. This is your father's life's work, a legacy given to you, a blessing, but also a huge responsibility given to
Responsibility.
you. You don't just get up and give up. And even when it is not a legacy given to you, when even when you're working for someone else, the solution is not to give up. The solution is to not give up and to keep pushing, because whatever storms you are going through at that time, it will pass.
Right.
It will pass. It may not pass immediately, but it will pass.
Yeah.
You have to find ways, re-strategize, find ways of keeping things going. Um, it doesn't matter what it is. You must find a way to keep things going. But giving up is out of the question.
All
You
right.
must keep going.
Thank you. So, Cherry's viewers, we've been having a conversation with the Managing Director of Primetime Limited, Akua Mensa-Bonsu. It's been wonderful so far. So, stick and stay with us as we go for a quick commercial break. We'll be back soon. Thank you. Welcome back, cherished viewers. This is the NSMQ live chat. My name is Isaac Crying, your host. We've been having a very, very beautiful conversation with the managing director of Primetime Limited, the prestigious producers of the National Science and Maths Quiz. Let me remind you that November 6th to 23rd, the STEM Festival is coming your way. You can find more info on STEM Festival at GH on Facebook and STEM Festival on Instagram. Thank you. Can you hear me, Nanekia? Can you hear me, Nanekia?
Yes, I can.
All right. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
All right. So you've been named currently, named the CMG Marketing Woman of the Year 2023. How does that make you feel?
Excited. It's very, yes, fulfilling, you know, because it has involved a lot of hard work, to get to this, and I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting it at all. You know the story. I wasn't expecting it at all, and so to win it is great, great. Thing for me, and not just for me, for my parents, my family and friends. Everybody's excited, my dad especially, because of the industry in which we find ourselves, and especially because of the legacy. I'm proud that and thankful to God. Sometimes your intentions do not materialize if certain things don't work out for you. I'm very glad that in his time he has seen his work um, go up like that through me, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing. Not everybody gets it going that way, and I am very happy that I've been able to do that. I remember that in my early years, or should I say my first year or so, I went to multimedia to speak with the CEO. I went to. I wanted him to be my mentor, and so he asked me a few questions, and said that what is driving me? Why do I want to do this job? I said, well, I've always been. It's always been the plan, kind of like that I was going to take over. And what motivates me is that I can't let this ship sink. And he was like, well,
So
it
I'm
has to
asking,
be
I'm
more
asking,
than.
I'm asking, what year was this when you approached the man?
Oh, this must have been, I don't know, maybe 2014 or
Oh,
15.
right.
2014 or
Right when you
15.
assumed the managing director role, just some few years.
It was a little time after that. I
Right.
felt that I needed some help.
A mentor.
And he told me that, well, I've had conversations with a lot of different people, but what he told me then, and which has stuck with me, he told me that it couldn't just be, oh, I can't let this ship go down on my watch. That it then feels it's like it's still um, somebody else's thing that I'm, or property, or thing that I'm looking for, or that I'm looking after. I have to make it my dream. Do you understand the distinction? I have to make it my dream, my
Dream.
world. What I Yes, it has to become mine. Then I know that there's no going back, and I think that I've been stuck with me since then. And I have found the passion to keep the dream alive. That this is no longer just a legacy that I'm my father's legacy that I'm taking care of, it has become mine as well. And when you feel personally invested in something, you give it your all. You go beyond the call of duty, and I think that's what I've been able to do with it. So this recognition is great, because it's shown not only that the program is a wonderful product by itself, but it's also acknowledged the people who work hard behind the scenes to make it the program, excel every day. um it's a wonderful nod.
Feet. Right.
Yes, it's a wonderful nod to us and to me, and I'm very grateful to CIMG for seeing the the value that I bring to the program, and
Okay.
acknowledging it. Yes.
Okay. We've also always known educational programs as a non-profit sort of, and then Primetime Limited is a business, and NSMQ is highly, educational. So, but then to run such an educational program, you need funds. I mean, big, huge funds for the NSMQ.
Yes.
So, how have you been able to market the high impact of the NSMQ, especially to corporate Ghana? That it seems that Prime Time has been successful in getting corporate Ghana on board, and even some state institutions and some traditional institutions to help with the vision of promoting STEM education in Ghana or taking it to the next level.
Well, as I've been saying, the quiz itself is a great program by itself. The content, if you put even the marketing aside, it is a great program by itself. So that at every time we've had difficulty finding people to support, someone has seen it and said, "But this is a wonderful program. I'm going to support it," and that has run throughout. Not just because of the content, what it does, unearthing talents, creating a culture of scientific thinking and people being interested in studying science. We are demystifying science so that people see that it is not such a strange subject that only sharks can do, but that more ordinary people like us can do it too. And that the science all around us, all the things that we see around us can be explained in some scientific way or one scientific way or other. So the product itself is great for marketing. We have tried to keep it fresh by introducing little things in and around it, even how it is organized, and so that from year to year you see different things happening, which keeps it fresh. And then you have the marketing abilities of the competition, being able to show corporate Ghana that we are actually doing something that is wonderful with this wonderful product of ours. I'm using wonderful because um, I'm not just saying it, but the NSMQ is the longest running private television program in Ghana. To be able to do that for 30 years anywhere in the world, not just in Ghana, anywhere in the world, is nothing short of a miracle. So then it means you have a wonderful product that does wonderful things. And then you have people who see it. So by being able to show corporate Ghana that you can get closer to your primary targets, or you can get closer to a new generation of clients, of customers, of your targets, then you are able to get them on board so that they can get closer to their audiences, their target audiences. So I think these are some of the things that we've been able to do, and to show the relevance of the products to the audience. I think that it's been wonderful for them. When the management of sponsors come on board and see how their input is also affecting the students, I believe that it makes them happy.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that you've been able, Prime Time has been able to do so well is taking the keys to its, stakeholders, especially the youth, the audience. You understand? I remember there was a time that people the NSMQ was broadcasted maybe 6 months way before GTV starts showing it, and yet people were waiting for when GTV shows it, and so you will see that probably the finals has taken place probably 3 months ago, but people are celebrating, especially watching live on television, like rebroadcasted on television, like it is happening today with the way the NSNQ, you've been able to integrate digital channels, streaming the NSNQ live using new media, tools to broadcast the NSNQ. It is it is impossible to achieve that feat that we of prime time was doing then. Because today, if the NSNQ finals is going on today, nobody will even want to wait till when the program is rebroadcasted. Everybody wants to know what is going on today. I believe that there's this technique, there is this decision making, there is this planning that went into assimilating from traditional media, although it is combined, there's this planning that went into assimilating from solely traditional media and integrating new media channels into the planning of the programming that has made it, what it is today. How have you been able to do that?
Well, um, we some okay, so it's been a combination, right? Some things were planned and some were not. But the good thing was that we recognized immediately the power of social media and harnessed it to our advantage. And that in itself is a lesson, Um, one of the things that I did when I started running it was to look at the program, carefully and see that it's a program for young people. And if it's a young program for young people, then it means that we have to take it to young people. We have to meet them where they congregate. And that's social media. At that time was still quite new in many ways. We set up our social media accounts in 2013, and we were giving like up to date, um, should I say, updates on the contest as they were going on, because in the beginning, for many years there was no social media, so for many years we'd record the program, edit, and then show on TV. And at the time we were recording, only the schools would know that we were recording at that time. And then social media came along, and um, we realized when we set up our accounts, we realized that a lot of people went and liked it. And we realized that people were posting about the competition, now coming to see the competition and posting about it. So then it didn't make any sense to hide it. And so we started keeping up with the updates. And then things changed. Technology changes things all the time. Things changed. And in 2016, in fact, 2015 was a watershed year for us. So was 2016. But 2015, it so happened that by the time we were done with showing on TV, the 2014 edition, which was won by Infanspim, there was a new champion in town, which was Prempeh College, and people were not interested in watching the previous season's competition and finishing the previous season's competition, because there was a new champion in town. People were posting it on social media and taking pictures and all sorts of things, and that told us that if we did not change some things about how we were running the program, we were going to run into problems. And so we had to and by that time the program had grown so big, and that was part of the reason why we were still showing 2014, um, the 2014 season when we were recording 2015. Usually we used to finish it about at least 2 weeks before we would start the New Year's um, championship, national championships. But in 2014, the number of schools grew from, I mean, at the national championships to do. And so when things didn't work out with the broadcast, I won't say rebroadcast. At that time, it was not a rebroadcast; it was the telecast of it. When things didn't work out with the timing, it made it go into the time when we were recording the new seasons competition, and immediately people were not interested in watching the old
The
one.
old one. Sure.
So then we had to make some adjustments, and that's when we started doing two contests, showing two contests a week, so that we could have the whole thing done before the New Year's competition began. And then 2016, another watershed year, because that's when live streaming became a thing, started.
Right.
We didn't
Right.
have a budget for it. We didn't have a budget for it, but my team members, my younger team members, felt that it was important to do it, and so we did it with our phones. Really, the yes, the opening ceremony, and then from the quarterfinals to the finals. What it did for me, because remember I was on maternity leave, I had just had
Right.
a baby, was for to help me to see what was going on. I didn't need to rely on any team member to update me. Oh, who's winning? What's going on? Is there a break? I can't see any updates. What's going on? Is there a protest or whatever? I could see live what was happening on location from my room, and so that um, it sold it for me, and made sure that we put in some funds towards the end of that year season to continue the the live stream, and to make sure that the following year 2017 we will start the live stream from the 1/8 to cover 40 contests. And so um, like I said, some of these were not planned, and some of these, well, the situation has
All for
presented
it.
itself.
Yeah.
There's an
Necessity.
opportunity. Yes, there's an opportunity there. Let's take it and run with it. And that's how we were able to harness social media to our benefit. So the lesson in here is that sometimes life happens, the circumstances present themselves, but what can you do with it? There's an opportunity in it. One of the things that we and if you see that opportunity and you adjust, you pivot a little bit, you can take advantage of it. One of the biggest problems, and one of the reasons why in the beginning we were a little hesitant about doing the live stream, was because you know during a contest, all sorts of things happen. Sometimes there are protests. Sometimes you can't. The contestant may not speak loudly enough for you to hear what they are saying. You have to do a retake. There's no room for you to correct mistakes,
Right.
because every mistake you make is live, right? You are showing your mistakes to the world. But we had to get over our fear of that, and you know look at some of our rules, look at some of our ways of organizing it, to make sure that we could cover ourselves as best as we could and under the circumstances. So sometimes it requires a little changing of things. One of the things, if you remember that I remember that you're asking me about my professional training and so on. One of the things
Right.
that I learned is that change is inevitable, and you have to change to suit it. Otherwise, you are going to go extinct. Um, I remember that because I did French and Spanish for my undergrad, and I wanted to go back to school in France, and my mother was having none of it. She said, "Go to America. In America, there are no taboos. There are so many. different people from different places that no, nothing is a taboo, really. What is sacred to you is normal to someone else. So there are no taboos, and they adapt, and maybe I think that's what's also helped them to become as powerful as they are. Everybody brings their own point of view to it, and it makes it work. But even more importantly, they are not they don't have taboos. Nothing is sacred. Sometimes a little too much there too, but nothing is sacred, and because of that they are not resistant to change. They actually like
To
change
change.
because
Right.
yes, because it keeps things fresh, it keeps things exciting, and it helps you to improve. And that's one of my attitudes towards how I run things. While you don't
Okay.
want to change it necessarily too much, if it's not they say what, if it's not broken, but you can always change is not always um, completely doing away with what is already in existence. Change is also amending, adding on, maybe subtracting a little bit. Change comes in all forms, and so long as you embrace it, you will survive and you will thrive.
Right. That's beautiful. We have a question from Asante Daniel. Asante wants to know where you see the NSMQ in the next 30 years.
Well, in the next 30 years, that's a big one. In the
Global.
next five, I do
Right.
see the NSMQ on the global stage, on the continental stage, and we are working on making that a reality. In 2007, we did a West African version of the competition, and we want to go beyond that to do a continental version. So we are at different stages of the work needed to get that done. So in 30 years, wow, in 30 years, I would want to see the NSMQ as a huge global competition along the lines of some sort of Olympic Games where you have teams, an Olympiad where you have teams
Representing
from all
countries.
over the world. Yes, from all over the world come to Ghana to perform, to compete and make their nations proud. That would be a
Right.
wonderful thing to see. Yeah.
Okay. So probably in 2021, when the STEM festival started, the NSMQ was probably the biggest thing to happen to educational television programming in Ghana. And yet you saw the need to introduce a new program, that will focus on the practical, experiences of STEM promotion. How did that come about?
Well, I did say earlier that feedback is gold, and you decide what you want to do with it. Um, Sometimes the criticism is not very fair because a quiz is a quiz. There's only so much you can do with a quiz. Um, Imagine if you were doing practicals in the quiz and people were sitting, even with the problem of the day, you see that there are long periods where people don't know what is happening. And that's why, or at least there were long periods where people didn't know what was happening. And that was unsettling for the audience. It made things drag. And also for the TV audience. And so one of the things that we did to kind of reduce the time and make it more exciting was to have the students write on the smart boards and solve the problem from there. So imagine having practicals where they are, should I say, mixing things or doing things that you can't see as an audience member. That's not very interesting. So we decided that if we wanted to be able to do practical things and to do big things, then we had to set up something, a program that would complement the quiz, where students could come in and exhibit projects that they had put together. And so we started the SciTech Fair in 2017 as a satellite program of the NSMQ. We used to be in camp for a little over a month, recording the programs, and the schools would be in residence also. So this was one of the programs we drew up to keep the students occupied or entertained or engaged when they were not competing. And so the SciTech Fair began just as an exhibition. And then in 2021, well, due to COVID, in 2020, we were not able to do it because we needed to do the quiz in as quick um, a time as possible, as short a time as possible, and to avoid too many interactions with the outside world. And so we meant that there were other things that we couldn't do. We couldn't do the tours program where we would go to places of scientific interest. There were lots of things we couldn't do. So we couldn't do the SciTech because the schools did not have enough time in the year to put projects together. And when school was out for a long time, and when school reopened, it was really to prepare the students to write their exams, especially the Form 3 students, and to be able to move to the next level. So we started the SciTech, the STEM festival, moved the mentorship program, and started the SciTech, the STEM festival, put in the SciTech fair, and then started the SciTech Innovation Challenge to have students come to the program and build a project up from scratch using materials and tools that we would provide for them. So at the beginning of the season, there's a call for papers, there's a theme on which the projects had to be based, was we were looking at solving local problems. You see, the quiz deals with the fundamentals of science, right? The fundamentals. And that's why you find a lot of, but a quiz is a quiz. That's what I was saying earlier, that you can't be doing practicals in there. And when you are doing practicals, you are still talking about them rather than demonstrating. So the SciTech is supposed to be the part where the demonstration of the should I say the theories and the principles and all the other things that the students learn in the classroom and are tested on at the quiz. This is where they demonstrate. So with the quiz, the problem of the day takes care of the practicals, but in a written way. And the SciTech takes care of the practicals in a demonstrative way. So that is the distinction and why we set up the SciTech Fair. So we have the SciTech Innovation Challenge where the students build the projects from scratch without the help of their teachers. What happens when you do that is that you assure yourselves that the people can do that work themselves. So if they come in there and build a robot, it means that by the time they leave the competition, the students who came in to do that project know how to build up a robot from scratch. And so by so doing, we are not just um, teaching them and helping them explore the fundamentals and the theories that support the demonstration parts, the practicals, but enabling them to also put into practice what they have studied in the classrooms.
Okay, that's beautiful. You have just spoken about the importance of feedback in whichever form it comes. Now, a comment from Ebenezer Obin reads, "People who don't care won't bother to give you feedback." NAAMB, you know what NAAMB?
My
Naneka
initial,
mentioned very good. A very progressive mindset, madam. Kudos and congratulations to you on your CIMB wins.
thank you very much, Mr. Obey.
All
Thank
right.
you. I appreciate it.
All right. So where do you see the STEM festival in the next 5 years?
On a global scale. We are not looking at just helping. I think that we have a very unique product here in the quiz and the STEM festival that we can market to other countries. We are happy to go to Olympiads in other places, but we are also perfectly capable of doing those things and having people come from far and near to our competitions, competing with us, and also raising the profile of the competitions that we are doing here. We are perfectly capable of doing that. And with the right support and the contacts, we can. So I
Okay.
do see the STEM festival, especially the SciTech exhibition and the SciTech Innovation Challenge, going up on the global. So that is our vision, and that's what we are
Okay,
working toward.
so right. So and ultimately, we want you to tell us how you are able to blend. You are a mother and you have responsibilities at home. We want you to able to, and there are women, young girls, aspiring young girls, aspiring mothers listening to you. So we want you to
Yeah.
tell us, how you're able to blend your role as a managing director, managing a high profile or a high impact program like the NSMQ and the STEM festival and still, performing your duties like it's nothing.
I don't know about if I perform it like it's nothing.
Oh, you are, and winning
It's
awards of such, caliber.
it's
It's
hard. It's hard. And I'm not saying it just to discourage anybody, but those are the facts. In fact, when I was growing up, my mother used to say that the life of an African woman is hard, and the life of a working African woman is even harder. I appreciated her sentiments, but I didn't really understand it until I became a working African woman who's a mother as well. It's hard, and maintaining a balance is very difficult. More often than not, we tend to put others ahead of us, and our health suffers. I know what I'm talking about. I talked about not going on maternity leave and all of those things, and what the effect of it was on me. But there have been other instances where, I mean, keeping a balance is very difficult. There'll be times you can't balance it every time. Maybe balance as in long term, but you can't keep everything balanced at the same time. There'll be times when you will work more in the direction of work than at home. There are times when the conditions at home will require you to do more at home, pay more attention to home than work. And there are times when each one is pulling at you and your work, your health suffers. Your personal life or your personal things suffer. And the first thing to suffer is your health. Because dedicating so much time and energy to your work and to your children and to all your other responsibilities. We don't work in a vacuum. We don't live in a vacuum. You on an island. You are not an island. You have a family. You have parents. You are a daughter. You are a sister. You are a church member. You are a club member. You are a neighbor. You are. There are always and some other, you know, family member. There are always things that take your attention and your time, and you have to you're always juggling balls and noting at this time what's more important, at this time what's more important, at this time what is urgent. You always have to kind of juggle the balls. What I will say to any young woman who is aspiring to have a big career and a family, and especially children, don't do the best you can. And as for the mother guilt, you feel guilty when you can't spend that much time with your children. What I will say to that is be intentional about the time you spend with your family and especially with your children. Be intentional about it. Being intentional means that it does not always have to be quantity, but make sure that it's quality time that you're spending with them. Every time that you spend with them, you are doing something that you will bond over. You are doing something that they can learn from. Otherwise, you will have a lot of issues in terms of influencing and guiding them and all of that. Some of the things that we do, bonding things that you do, you don't have to always spend a lot of money doing them. There are little things that you can do to bond. One of the things that my children and I bond over, and I tell them that is because their mother is a nerd, is that is us playing
Right.
what we call bingo.
Bingo.
Boys' names, girls' names, country, car, fruit, animal. We play that in
Right.
the car when we are going somewhere. We play that when we are sitting in the doctor's office, in the waiting room, waiting to meet the doctor. We play that as well. We play that when we go to a restaurant, waiting for our food. So that at every and you know how that game goes. You count you recite the alphabets, and then you pick an alphabet, and everybody has to give the name of a car, a fruit, an animal, a boy's name, a girl's name, starting with that letter. What it's done is that it's taught my children a lot about geography. They know a lot about countries. They know, and when we are driving through town, then they'll be mentioning, oh, a Mitsubishi or a Prado or something. With ours, we've even made the rules such that you can't even use the brand name of the
Right.
of the vehicle. You can only use the model. So if it's M, you can't say
Mercedes.
Mitsubishi. You
Okay.
can't say Mitsubishi or Mazda. You can say Micra though, because a Micra is a
Right.
Nissan. So then
Right.
it makes them watch out. It's made them aware, look out for things, notice things, more aware of the world around them. And these are little things that you can do with your children to bond over, so that it's not just about spending, doing big things with them, taking them places, spending a lot of money with them. Little things. We watch YouTube videos. I show them the videos of the songs that I love. They know all about 80s music, 70s music, 90s music. Little things like that. Be intentional about what you do with the children, how much time you spend with them, because you don't have a lot of time with them. And whenever we are separated, as in I have to go to Kumasi or Cape Coast or wherever, and we come back together again. We have a little celebration, our own little celebration, where and so they cherish those times. I cherish those times too. Because it is difficult to be a mother and to have these responsibilities that take you away all the time. Sometimes I work from home, especially when they're on vacation, for the simple reason that I can't be away all the time. If I can squeeze in a little time where I work, I do get some work done, but I also spend time with them. Then it's a win-win. So the balance is difficult, but if you are intentional and you plan, then you can make good strides in there. When I can, I take them along. Um, there have been times, even especially when they were babies, I'd take them along to. Everybody in my office knows my children. Everybody in my office knows my children. The other collaborators I work with know them also or have seen them before, because where I can take them, I do. It not only helps you to learn, for them to learn about the business, but also helps them to get you used to you not being around, and to understand why you can't be around when they need you, or can't be around all the time. And so when we went to the CIMG awards night, I took them along. I wanted them to see that when mommy is not there, or mommy is there but mommy is tired in the morning, work throughout the night, and so can't she's at home but can't is not really present, still sleeping, or you know while you're getting ready to go to school. This is why, and this is um, a good reason why she can't be there. There's a little notice I have that I put on my door sometimes. When I lock my door, they know they are not supposed to come in, because it means I am resting or I'm doing something, I'm sleeping. But in the mornings, when I have worked through the night, um, have gone to bed maybe at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., and they are waking up at 6 to get ready to go to school, I put that notice on my door. The notice says, come in and give me a kiss and a hug before you go to school. So it's on a big sheet of paper, A4 sheet of paper, and I've written that and hung it on. When I put it on my door, they know that even though they haven't seen me in the morning because I'm sleeping, they can still come in and say bye bye before they leave for school. And these are little ways in which I try to keep, you know, the contact going. So yes.
That's
difficult, but
beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. All right. And so, Terry's viewers, we've been speaking to the managing director of Primetime Limited, organizers of the National Science and Maths Quiz. It's been wonderful so far, and be reminded that from November 6th to the 23rd, STEM Festival is coming your way. If you want more information about the STEM Festival, you should check on our Facebook page at STEM Festival GH and same on Instagram. Please, Nanekia,
yes.
at this juncture, would you give us your final words?
Ah, maybe you could guide me to narrow down what's. Okay, so my final words would be to first of all say thank you. So my final words are thank yous. Um, I did say that I was grateful to God. Yes, a lot of times I have seen God come through for us because sometimes the situation is difficult and you can't explain how you know you were able to go through it. And so I'd like to attribute that to God standing in for me and for us at the time of our need. I say a big thank you to my parents. I said this at the CIMG because I wanted to be a translator, but they saw that I could do very well in this field and pushed me to get into it. I didn't start it with the passion that I have now or that I developed later for it, but I'm glad I allowed myself to be guided into the role. And I appreciate and I'm thankful for the direction that they have given me over the years. Um, we are always brainstorming. When there's something that bothers me, I call my dad or I call my mom. Are you home? Are you busy? Can I come over? And we talk about whatever it is bothering me. Um, and they also give ideas. Sometimes my mom will call me out of the blue and say, "Oh, I just thought of this and I thought I'd share it with you. What do you think? Is it something you can do? If it's something that can be done immediately, I take it and run with it. If not, I keep note of it. I shelve it and keep note of it for a day when it can be used. So I'm thankful to my parents for all the support. I have other people that I speak with. My 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 aunt Mabel is one of my biggest supporters and my confidant, and she also pushes me, gives me ideas, and encourages me. I talk with all sorts of people. My uncle Alex is in marketing and knows all of these things. A great resource. I have friends and cousins, a whole network of people that I speak with. So I'm thankful to all of them for the support that they've given me over the years, especially in my professional life. Um, when I was talking about support in professional life, one other blessing that I thank God for is having a mother who herself was a professional and so could give me useful advice, and not just professional, but in big leadership positions, because she taught me a lot of things and helped me with a lot of difficult situations. A case in point was when my younger daughter um, didn't want didn't want formula when she was a baby. Oh, she wouldn't touch formula. She didn't want um, expressed milk. She wanted to be breastfed like directly. And when your mother is a working mother who can't take maternity leave, that is a luxury that is difficult to give you, because if I can't be there, then I must express the milk to give to you. And she wouldn't touch that either. She was losing weight and getting sick. And my mother said, "Well, you have the freedom to choose in most cases how you spend your day. So build your schedule around the baby's feeding times." I was lucky that I didn't live too far away from home, so I could go back and forth. Home, feed the baby, go back to the office. Home, feed the baby, go back to the office. I was lucky that I was able to do that. But a lot of the things that she also told me that children will not fall sick over the weekend. They'll fall sick on Monday. So I don't put any important activities or meetings for Monday. Mondays we have our internal. So Isaac, that's the reason why we one of the reasons why we have our engine room meetings and stuff on Mondays, and we don't do
On Monday.
external stuff on Mondays. I needed
Right,
to make
right,
sure
right. I can relate.
that yes, I needed
Yeah,
to make sure. And it's the beginning of the week, so it's good to take stock of what you are supposed to do and get things
sure.
done. But I had to make this my habit also, not put important things for Monday, because if the child is going to be sick, it's going to be on a Monday. It's on Monday that you are going to, and I have experienced that before,
Right.
that you're going to end up in the doctor's office when you have important things to do. So having a mother in that role also was helpful to me, and I try to speak with my female team members on things that I think would be helpful to them, that they may not necessarily get insights, they may not necessarily get access to from their networks. I'm also there for that. I provide that. I'm thankful to all those who support me to take care of the children, especially when I'm not there. Um, my sisters, especially, they take on the children when I'm not there. Their dad takes them on when I can't be there. My sister-in-law takes them on when when I can't be there, and all of them provide a big network. My parents do that too. Support system for me to be able to go with a free and clear mind to do my activities. Because you can't work well. And they were there you see them there, my two daughters and my sister. One of my other sister had to leave because her son was very sick. So she had to leave the event before it ended, before we took these pictures. But my family have made sure that they are a solid support system for me and for them whenever I can, because we are all professionals. I have two younger sisters. They are professional women in leadership positions too, and we all need the support that we can give to each other. We are three mothers. We support our children also, and look out for each other's children. It's been an important thing for us. So a big thank you to them all. A big thank you to our collaborators. I'm inserting stories while I'm saying my thank yous, but yes, to all our collaborators, our suppliers, the team of consultants, the all the people we work with who make it possible for us to do the kind of work we do and at the level that we do it. We are a small team that does big things. I say that all the time, and that's because we have solid collaborators and suppliers who make it possible for us to do what we do and to do it as well as we do it. And then I can't say thank you to all of these people without mentioning those who actually fund the program. All these years, we have had people who have believed in us and who have believed in the programs that we do and have committed their financial support to making the programs, come true. At the moment, and for the past, I think from 2017, it's the Ghana Education Service through or should I say, the Ministry of Education through the Ghana Education Service that's been sponsoring is the main sponsor for the National Science and Maths Quiz. But we have had many corporate sponsors, and I would like to mention here ABSA Bank, our first partner sponsor. They sponsored as partners for 3 years. Goyle is our current partner sponsor, and they also have a 3-year contract with us, and this is the second year. Goyle has been amazing. Before they came on as partner sponsors, they were supporting sponsors, and started with the SciTech Fair, and then moved on to the NSMQ, providing all sorts of assistance to us, and we are really grateful to them. We've had We have Prudential Life Insurance. They've also been with us for a while. I think from 2017 or 18, sponsoring the NSMQ Star. They came first on the SciTech as well. Um, we have AT started from Tigo and now AT doing the highest scorer. We have Unilever. They started the program with my dad with Brillant soap. So for this generation of students who probably don't know why the competition is called Brilla, it's because it was sponsored by Brillant soap, not brilliant, Brillant. It's actually French, brillant, which means to shine, right? Or shining, brilliant, shining, glittering. So Brilliant Soap was the sponsor, and that's why, and it resonated so well because you had brilliant students being sponsored by Brilliant Soap on this competition, the Brilliant Science and Maths quiz, and that's how the name came to stay. So we have Unilever last year; they gave Pepsodent um, speed race, and this year they are moving up. So we have had a lot of people coming in, sponsors. We've had Vitamilk, we've had different beta malts last year came on. We've Cowbell also gave generously. We had Garnet. Um, we've had so many different sponsors come onto the program and keep it going. At some point, we had the Get Fund supporting the program. We had Amstel Malt from then Kumasi Brewery, which then became Ghana Breweries, and then Guinness Ghana Breweries now. Also supporting after Liver Brothers went off the program. So a big thank you to all of these companies over the years supporting the program in big ways and small. And we couldn't have done this. I mean, the idea would have stayed on the shelf, or even when it came into the limelight, it would have died out if all these companies hadn't come on board to support the program. And so we are really grateful to all these sponsors who've come on and helped us along the way in big ways and small. Thank you to everybody, the schools. Thank you to CHAS. CHAS was the sponsor of the program. And CHAS was actually very instrumental in the revival of the program in 2012. They put in the request to get the program back on its feet from the GES and collected the money and made sure that we were given what we needed to make the program come on board. And that's how the program was able to grow. First of all, that's how the program was able to come back from a 2-year hiatus and then to grow from 40 schools to this current number of, this year we have 157 schools going into the national championship. And that is a huge leap from 40 in 10 years. Yes, it has been 10 years. Well, 10, 12 years. 10 years ago, we became 135 schools at the national, and then we are now 157 schools. And we deal with over 500 schools every year. So, wonderful collaborators, wonderful sponsors, wonderful teams that we work with. And at this point, I have to give my flowers, or should I say the primetime team? I have to give the primetime team their working on a program like this demands so much of our time, our energy, our brain power, because we are always looking to innovate, always looking at ways of making the user experience for our participants more interesting, easier, more comfortable. We are always looking at ways of making the sponsor feel, you know, their money's worth, to see their money's worth, to see their contributions working for them, for everybody to see that the program is doing what it's supposed to be doing. It requires a lot of energy. The teams doing when they're doing their regionals are away from their homes and their families for 6 weeks at a time. All of these sacrifices are necessary to keep the program going. We work on weekends when we have to. We work on holidays. In fact, until 2020, when because of COVID, the NSMQ was moved to the end of the year, we never celebrated May Day, not as a free day. We always had a meeting on May Day. We would of course, have a little feast in the office to celebrate it, because it's a day for workers and for us. But we could never take the day off to go and rest, because if you took the day off to go rest, well, you were going to do an important competition very soon after that, and you were going to, I mean, at that point, every day counted, and so we couldn't just take the day off completely like that. We'd come meet half day and then everybody would go their way, but we still had to do some work on that day. So all these sacrifices I make it a point every year when I'm giving my speech at the finals to acknowledge the primetime team, because what it takes to keep competition going, and what it takes to keep the competition running, and at the pace at which we run, and at the level at which we run, you need people who are passionate about it. You need people who are willing to sacrifice for it, who are willing to go beyond the call of duty for it. And all your efforts are appreciated. So well done, primetime team. And when I'm talking about teams, I must talk about multimedia, because they also give us a team who help us with the technical production and all of that. And when you come on location, you can't tell the difference between the multimedia team and the primetime team. We work as one. And so big ups to multimedia for that, and for the people who work on the program. So thank yous, lots and lots of thank yous. Thank you to everybody who contributes in any way to the success of the program. And it's not by chance that we have won our second consecutive TV program of the year, CIMG TV program of the year, and the third one overall. We are aiming to do even bigger things and to win more awards, because all of these are a testament to the excellence that we all come together to display on the NSMQ and another STEM festival. So thank you to everybody, and
Right.
we all appreciate your effort. I personally appreciate all your effort. Thank you to the fans. I mustn't forget the fans. Hey, you are the you are the driver of all the noise, the fun, the excitement, and everything that happens on the NSMQ. And we appreciate your contributions. We appreciate your time, your energy, the credits that you spend um, buying data to follow us. Thank you so much. We appreciate everything you do.
At this juncture, we at Primetime would like you to know that it's an honor working under you, and we would like you to continue doing exploits, because when you get the honor, we also get featured in it. So thank you very much for being a wonderful managing director. Thank you so much. We bless the hands that made this possible. So thank you. All right, viewers, right,
Thank you.
sure. Okay, and thank you for coming on the live chat.
Thank you for having me.
Right,
I'm
right,
happy to share my experiences and my thoughts with everyone. Yes.
right. It's been beautiful. It's been beautiful. Thank you very much. Viewers, we've had, the most amazing time. We just had almost 2 hours with the managing director of Primetime Limited, organizers of the National Science and Maths Quiz. It's an amazing time that we've spent with her. She's shared with us so many insights into the NSMQ STEM Festival. Thank you so much. The national championship of the National Science and Maths quiz is coming your way on the 1st. So from the 1st of October, launching the NSMQ 2024 at the NAT New Conference Hall. Come and support us. So from October 14th to 17th, the prelims is coming on, starting in Cape Coast this year. So the 1/8 is October 19th to 21st, quarterfinals 23rd to 25th, semifinals October 27th, grand finale October 30th, and the National Science and Maths Quiz 2024 will, have. Are we going to have a new, champion, or is Preset going to continue its winning streak? Time will tell. Okay, so November 6th to 23rd, we have the STEM Festival coming your way. If you want more information on the STEM Festival, go to Facebook at STEM Festival and then Instagram at STEM Festival GH. So thank you very much. My name is Isaac Kwedu. It has been a special edition of the NSMQ live chat with the Managing Director of Primetime Limited, Miss Nenekia Mensa-Bonsu, the current, CIMG Marketing Woman of the Year. Thank you so much.